Hey everyone, it's Jack from Cultaholic.com here on Royal Rumble night with a quick news update, some of which could potentially be a little bit spoilery, some of which isn't spoilery. The first story I'm going to talk about is not spoilery at all because it comes straight from WWE themselves and they've willingly reported it ahead of the Royal Rumble. It concerns John Cena. We're also going to talk about Dolph Ziggler, who recently did an interview in which he talked a bit about his WWE status and also commented a little bit on AEW as well. And finally, a notable women's wrestler has been seen backstage at the Royal Rumble. No guarantee that she'll be in the match, but it's probably interesting to note because we haven't seen her around for a little while. So let's waste no further time and let's take a look at all of the news. So first and foremost, yes, John Cena, according to WWE themselves, has been pulled from the Royal Rumble. He will not be appearing due to that injury. The injury that has really captivated the internet over the past week or so. People are like sort of reporting and suggesting that it's real, people reporting and suggesting that it's fake. And honestly, we don't really know what's going on. The only thing we do know is that WWE have announced that he will not be at the Royal Rumble. But again, because this is professional wrestling, an industry built on lies and deception, we don't know whether that's wholly true or not. Of course, if John Cena is actually injured, we wish him a full and speedy recovery, as we do when anybody gets injured. However, I think we've all got in the back of our minds the 2008 Royal Rumble, where of course Cena was injured and returned ludicrously early from injury, in at number 30 and won the match, last eliminating Triple H. Now, obviously we've all thought of that because it's a John Cena injury around the time of the Royal Rumble, but at the same time, I don't know whether or not this is true. I know one person who wants it to be, false, and that's Adam Pacitti because he's picked John Cena to win that Royal Rumble match. I wouldn't be surprised either way. I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't show up. But again, because of this whole sort of nagging skepticism wrestler fan thing that we've all got going on in the back of our heads, I wouldn't also be too surprised if he did show up. It's certainly an interesting little story leading into the Royal Rumble in a few hours' time, but just because WWE have said it doesn't actually reveal too much. If I had to put money on it, and if I had to honestly guess whether he was going to show up or not, I suggest that he isn't going to show up, because I think if they were going to do a whole worked injury angle and then he would turn up and surprise everybody, they'd have made a bigger deal out of the injury rather than kind of quietly reporting on it and then sort of confirming it on the day of. But they've not made as big a deal of it as I think they maybe would have done were it a work. In other news, Dolph Ziggler has recently done an interview with Chris Van Vliet, which you can see on Chris Van Vliet's YouTube channel, in which he talks a little bit about his status with WWE. He says that he's currently taking a hiatus from WWE. He hasn't appeared on Raw since late December when he wrestled against Drew McIntyre in a cage match, I believe. He's been working a few house shows since then, but now he says he's on a hiatus from WWE. He said that he's worked 10 years for a weekend off, and this is his weekend off. We all know, of course, that Dolph Ziggler has other interests outside of wrestling, really seems to want to break into the whole stand-up comedy world, but again, every time that seems to be not getting somewhere. I'm no expert on how well or bad he is at comedy, but every time he seems to focus on that a little bit, he then comes back to wrestling. So it's quite a strange one. I don't know when we'll next see him back, really. I don't know how long this hiatus is implied to be, but he sort of shot down or skirted around the question of going to All Elite Wrestling. Chris Van Vliet said to him basically, and I'm paraphrasing, could you potentially be interested in being the next big signing for All Elite Wrestling? And Ziggler went, I wouldn't be the next big signing, I'd be the big signing. And they've got Chris Jericho with Dolph. Come on now, come on friend. But no, obviously Dolph Ziggler would be a big deal if he signed for All Elite Wrestling, a big former WWE superstar coming in, someone who's renowned for his good work rate in the ring, but someone who never really got the chance, or when he was given the chance, like injuries got in the way or couldn't really make the most of it, other things happened. Ziggler's career in WWE has been a very, very strange one, but he's been there for a long time now, and I certainly don't begrudge him taking a little bit of time off. But because of the way he kind of danced around the question of All Elite Wrestling, I don't think we'll see him show up there anytime soon. I pretty firmly believe that he'll stay in his WWE contract and will return to action. I just don't exactly know whether that's in the near future or a little further down the line. And finally, according to Mike Johnson of PW Insider, a certain women's wrestler has been spotted backstage ahead of the Royal Rumble tonight, which means that she could be in the Women's Royal Rumble. The identity of the woman is Maria Kanellis, and he noted as well, Mike Johnson, that her husband, Mike Kanellis, isn't backstage. He's not there, but Maria has been spotted, which seems to imply that she could be in the Women's Royal Rumble. Of course, she recently took time off to have a baby. Now that she's had the baby, who's to say that she might be in the match? Then again, she could just be backstage as part of the team. We know that wrestlers often turn up to shows that they're not actually on, but they're required to be there under their contract. So it's a bit of again a bit of a mysterious one. I'm glad actually that we don't know for certain whether she's going to be in or not, because it doesn't spoil anything really. It's a bit of a minor spoiler, but it doesn't take away the shock value if she were to come out. Of course, she's not like an old WWE Hall of Fame legend or anything, but even though she's returned to the company since taking a break and working for Ring of Honor and stuff for a few years, that doesn't necessarily mean that we've seen her. We haven't seen her for quite some time. So I think if she did appear in the Rumble, it would be quite a unique thing. I don't know if it's going to happen or not. This news update has just been me going, this is what's happened. I can't give you any speculation because I'm clueless. I don't know what's going to go down. So that's all for now. Thank you very much for watching this news update. I've been Jack from Cultaholic.com. Very excited because it's the Royal Rumble tonight. We all love it. And then from there, we're well on the road to WrestleMania. Thank you very much for watching this news video. You can follow me on Twitter if you want to, at Jack the Jobber. You can follow all of us at Cultaholic. Check out our Patreon as well, patreon.com/Cultaholic. And never forget, of course, if you haven't done so already, to hit subscribe and to join us.